Welcome back to the Math Professors. If you enjoy content that can be found in any college math class, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing. I'm Professor Van Hamlin, and we're going to cover the cross product today. So here's the definition of the cross product. It says u cross v is equal to the magnitude of u times the magnitude of v and the sine of theta times our normal vector, where n is that unit normal vector perpendicular to the plane defined by u and v. Now let's look at this graphically. So when we have the u vector and then we have the v vector, if I want to find the cross product, where the cross product is going to give me a perpendicular vector to both u and v, that's why we are multiplying it by this n, which happens to be perpendicular to both of these vectors. Now another way we like to do this is called the right-hand rule. So if I want to do u cross v, you start with your right hand and then you circle it around. So if I take u to v, we can see that my thumb is going to point in the direction of what u cross v becomes. So this is the definition. In a second, I'll explain how to compute, this cross product from two vectors. Now, from this definition, we have a way of determining if vectors are parallel. So two non-zero vectors are parallel if and only if their cross product is equal to 0. And the reason why is we know that theta is going to be the angle between these two vectors. And if theta is equal to 0, then the two vectors are going to go in the same direction. And the sine of 0 is equal to 0, so that means this expression inside the parentheses will be equal to 0. And then 0 times, this normal vector will be equal to that 0 vector. So another consequence of our cross product is the cross product of two vectors we also call a vector product, because we get a vector back. So that's why we call it the vector product. So u cross v is going to be equal to this vector, as opposed to the dot product, which we call a scalar product, because instead of getting a vector back, we get a scalar back. All right, let me show you how to compute this. So this is how to compute the cross product. If u is equal to u1i plus u2j plus u3k, or if I write it in component form, and similarly v is equal to v1i plus v2j plus v3k, then the cross product can be found by finding the determinant of this 3 by 3 matrix, where the top row is going to be our standard unit vectors, and then the second row is going to be u, and then the third row is going to be vector v. So what I want to do is I want to compute u cross v and also v cross u for these two vectors u and v. So let's go ahead and start out with u cross v. So u cross v is going to be the determinant of, well, I know the first row are going to be our unit vectors in the x, y, and z direction respectively, and then the second row is going to be the coefficients or the u vector in component form, and similarly the third row is going to be the v vector. Now the way we find the determinant is I'm going to do a row 1 expansion. So starting with row 1, we start out with this I, and then what you have to do is you cross out the first row and also the first column, and then you take the determinant of this. So this is going to be equal to I times the determinant of minus 1, 5, 4, minus 4. Now when we do the same thing for j, you're going to cross out that row and also that column, which means we're going to find the determinant of, so we're going to do j and we'll talk about this as well. So it's going to be the determinant of, missing this column. We're going to have 3, 5, minus 2, minus 4. And it goes plus, minus, plus, so this is going to be negative here. And then finally plus, when I do the k, you're going to get rid of the first row and also the third column. So this is going to be k times the determinant of 3 minus 1 minus 2, 4. And then the way you find the determinant of 2 by 2 matrices is you multiply the main diagonal and you subtract it from the multiplication of the other diagonal. So this is going to be equal to I times negative 1 times negative 4, which would be 4, minus 5 times 4, which is going to be 20, minus our j. Now the determinant is going to be negative 12 minus a, well this would be negative 10, so plus 10. And then we have plus k times, this one is going to be 12 minus a minus 2, so 12 minus a minus 2. So then when we write this, I'm going to have negative 16i. This is going to be, in the parentheses, negative 2, and negative times a negative is going to be plus 2j. And then last, we're going to have plus, let's make sure this is, oh, my bad, minus this positive 2 is going to be a minus 2. So this is going to be plus 10k. All right, very similarly, let's try v cross u. I'll probably be able to fit it in here. So v cross u, let's do a bar here. So this is going to be I, j, k. And then now when you do our v cross u, this is now going to be the second row, and this is now going to be the third row. So we're going to have minus 2, 4, minus 4, and then 3, minus 1, 5. And I don't know if you've taken linear algebra before, but there's something that happens when you interchange rows. And we'll see in a second here. Is going to be equal to I times the determinant of 4 minus 1, 5, minus j times the determinant of minus 2 minus 4, 3, 5, plus k times the determinant of minus 2, 4, 3, minus 1. So really just using the same method we just did before. So this is going to be I times 20 minus a minus 4, or just, minus a positive 4, so 20 minus 4, minus j, this is going to be negative 10, minus a minus 12, so plus 12, and then plus k times 2 minus 12, which is good. So then I get 16i, and this is going to be minus 2j, and then finally minus 10k. So what we notice about the cross products is they're not commutative. They're close. They're very, very close. I get the same coefficients, but they're opposite signs. So what we're noticing here is that u cross v is the opposite of v cross u. Now there's also something else I wanted to verify, and we'll do the work over here in a second because I only need one of these vectors. So what happens when you get these two cross products? Well, with the right-hand rule, if I go u cross v, you can see that the vector is going to move in the direction of my thumb, so it's going to be pointing up. Still perpendicular to both these vectors, and I'm going to show this perpendicular in a second here using a dot product. Now if I go v cross u, what we know is we're going to have to flip it upside down. I'm going v to u, which means now it's going to be pointing in the opposite direction. So it does make sense that you get the same vector but in opposite directions using that right-hand rule. Now the claim also was that this u cross v was perpendicular to both u and v, and I've already computed this. Let's just kind of show that. I'm just going to erase this and kind of show this, just kind of as a side note. So note that this vector should be perpendicular to both u and also v. That's what this picture shows. So let's just test that. So if I want to verify vectors are perpendicular, I just have to take their dot products. Vectors are parallel if their cross products are 0, but vectors are perpendicular if their dot products are 0. So let's take the dot product. So let's do the dot product of u and u cross v. So what is u dotted with u cross v? Well, u is going to be 3 times, well, this will be u cross v, plus -1, this will be u cross v there, and then plus 5 times u cross v. Remember that when we take a dot product, you multiply their corresponding components and then add those products together. So 3 times -16, should have made this bigger, that's all right. -1 times 2, and then 5 times 10, and let's just see what we get here. So this is minus 48, this is minus 2, and this is plus 50, showing us that we do get 0. So that verifies that u is perpendicular to u cross v. We also, remember, they're both supposed to be perpendicular, so let's double check this. What about v, dotted with u cross v? So v is going to be our minus 2, 4, and -4. And we already know that u cross v is going to be our minus 16, or 2, and then 10. So let's just double check. So this is going to be 32 plus 8 minus 40. Again, we can see that that is 0. Again, verifying that our cross product is indeed perpendicular to both of those vectors. There are other things that we can do with the cross product as well, and this comes down to finding, say, the area of a parallelogram or even the area of a triangle. So the area of a parallelogram using the cross product, so we know that u cross v is equal to the magnitude of u times the magnitude of v sine theta, all multiplied by the normal vector of the plane defined by vectors u and v. So what I did is I did the magnitude of both sides. So the magnitude of u cross v is going to be equal to the magnitude of the right-hand side, and I know the magnitude of a unit vector is equal to 1. And what this thing right here actually defines is the area of a parallelogram. So what we can say is that the area of a parallelogram defined by vectors u and v is nothing more than the magnitude of the cross products of u and v. And another way I like to try to remember this idea is back in grade school when we wanted to find the area of a rectangle, we just had to know its base and its height. So I know this thing had area 6 because 3 times 2 was equal to 6. So this is kind of very similar in that idea. So other things we can do as well is it also allows us to be able to find areas of triangles. So if I have, here's going to be the example, and this is kind of how I'm going to set this up, and I want to show how it's related to this. My next example is I want to find the area of a triangle defined by 3 points. So if I have a point here and a point here and a point here, I want to find the area of this triangle. Now I don't really know the area of the triangle, but if I can find this vector, which I can, it's just final point minus initial point, we'll just put it in standard form. And then similarly, if I can find this vector, again, straightforward, final point minus initial point, put that in a standard form vector, then I actually know the area of this thing's parallelogram. Now the area of the parallelogram is going to be twice the area of this triangle. So if I want the area of that triangle, this area right here is going to be equal to 1/2 times the magnitude of u cross v. It's going to be half the parallelogram. Just like triangles are half of rectangles. So that's going to be our next example. Here's our last example. I want to determine the area of this triangle defined by the image. And what I've done is I've just given us 3 points. And we can see here that we have the points, 1, 2 is going to be this point. And then the next point we have 4, 3. And then finally the last point I have 3, 5. So this triangle is defined by those 3 unique points. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find 2 vectors coming from a common point. And it doesn't really matter, so I'm just going to choose this bottom point. So I'm going to find this vector right here. So, this is going to be point A, this is going to be point B, this is going to be point C. So I'm going to find the vector AB. So in order to find this vector AB, we just have to do final minus initial as far as our points. We'll just put it in this component form. So for the x coordinates, you know it's going to be 4 minus 1, so 4 minus 1, which is going to be 3. And then for the y's, it's going to be equal to 3 minus 2, which is going to be equal to 1. I know that's going to give us a vector right here, but this vector, this vector is equal to this vector. So it doesn't really matter when I'm going to show you, when I put this in standard form, I'm not going to have that vector right there. Now, I'm also going to find the vector AC. So AC, because I want to come from a common point, is now going to be, well, the x's we're going to have to subtract, so 3 minus 1 is going to be 2. And then 5 minus 2 is going to be equal to 3. So now I know that, this vector can also be written like this. You can see that these two vectors are equivalent to these two vectors. It doesn't really matter. All I've done is just taken and slid it to the origin, essentially. So what I can finally find, what I can find is I can find the area of this parallelogram, which is going to be equal to the same thing as the area of the parallelogram defined by these two vectors. And then eventually I'm going to take half of it so I can find the area of the triangle. So in order to find the area of this parallelogram, that's going to be equal to u cross v. So u cross v is going to be equal to, let's do this in green so it's not so harsh on the eyes. This is going to be I, J, K. And then, oh, we have to be careful. This is kind of important. If I try to do this, I'm going to have 3, 1, and then I'm also going to have 2, 3 right here. And our cross product only works for 3 dimensions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this thing and take it from 2 dimensions to 3 dimensions just by, saying that z comes out of the board. So we're going to drop this into 3 dimensions by making these things 0. So these would be 0. All right, so let's go ahead and find this this cross product. So I times so 1 times 0, 1, 0, 3, 0, minus j times 2, 0. Ooh, that's not right. 3, 0, 2, 0, and then plus k times 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we know that this minus that multiplication, this is going to be 0i, and similar minus j. When I do this multiplication, this is 0, so this is going to be 0j as well. So minus 0j or plus 0j doesn't matter. And then plus for k, this is going to be 9 minus 2. So what we're going to have is 0i plus 0j or minus 0j plus 7k. Now I don't need its cross product. What I need is not its cross product, but its magnitude of the cross product. That's going to give me that area. So the magnitude of u cross v is going to be equal to, well, it's the magnitude of a vector. It's the square root of the sum of the squares of its components. So this is the square root of 49, which is equal to 7. Now, I don't want to find the area of this parallelogram. I'm actually trying to find the area of this triangle. So the area of the triangle is going to be 1/2 times the magnitude of u cross v. So it's going to be 1/2 times 7, or 7/2. Again, if you like the content, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing. Thanks for watching.